For our next and final talk here on Bharatnomics today, I'd like to call on stage someone who is a very familiar face in Bangalore fitness circles, Kannan Sundarajan, Coach K, who is a seasoned high-performance endurance coach with over 32 years of experience in engineering, business consulting, and endurance coaching. He is the founder and race director of Ooty Ultra, Bison Ultra, and Madurai Ultra, and he creates unique endurance running experiences for athletes of all levels. So let's hear him talk about movement is privilege. Coach K, if you could have you join us on stage, please.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for setting the stage with those exciting drama. There is this athlete, woman athlete called Tara Dover. She set a new world record by running the entire Appalachian Trail, which is about 2,100 miles, close to about 3,500 kilometers. I was able to make a connection today that we don't talk about Rama, who was a barefoot runner. I don't know if he's a minimalist runner, walker, who traveled all the way from Ayodhya to Sri Lanka, never been discussed in the records book. Okay, anyway, thank you so much for the connection. And then from Colonel's speech, he highlighted how the semiconductor industry is moving and how we are getting upgrades for our watches, phones, and all the gadgets. But now, I'm the last person between you and the dinner that's going to be served. But that's not going to be the fact. I'm going to be a person who's going to be standing in between you and, let's keep the end in mind, how you want to spend the rest of your life. Okay? So I want all of you to take your hands, and then turn this side, pat here. Congratulate yourself for coming so far. This is great. Whatever you've done in the past is fabulous. Now we're going to talk about what you can possibly do from here till that end, whenever it is, through movement. Okay? All right. Let's start with a splash. So this is exactly what I did yesterday at 3 o'clock in the evening. I went for a run, and then I saw some water puddle. I said, let me go and jump. That's exactly what the movement has given me. Now, what is this session all about? Share my world. My world is the world of endurance. I've been an engineer all through my life, but now the second innings of my life, I have been engineering endurance. All right? So this is my world. And then inspire and encourage wise choices. Okay? Because all of us have been given so many opportunities to choose. Let's see if there are some wise choices that can be chosen. Then be respectful to everyone's unique journey. There's no judgment made. And then, of course, acknowledge different physical challenges. Not going to judge anybody because not all of us are the same. Everybody has different needs. Everybody is made different. Everybody has traveled so far very differently. And then, of course, everybody's personal perspective of movement is different. Okay, so I'm not going to say one type of movement. I'm going to respect that. Now, but at the same time, what is this session not about? Again, you can see here, push anyone beyond their comfort or ability. I'm not going to advocate and say that you have to move, you have to run a race, or you have to climb a mountain. And then again, a one-size-fits-all approach. But that's what most of the time the Googles does. I mean, you want to go download a fitness plan, training plan, or a diet plan. That's a one-size-fits-all, may not be applicable to you. And then again, you can see that we're not going to move the same way. Again, no judgment. We talked about this. There's no endorsement made to neglecting individual. I'm not going to point out and say that you're neglecting your health. So now, let's roll our arms. Is this something simple that all of us can do? Okay? And then roll the shoulder. But please careful, you don't want to knock your friends sitting next to you. And then, of course, you can just move your feet up and down. This is movement, right? Very basic movement. And then legs, please don't kick your partners. We're not going to talk about that. And then elevate HR, the heart rate, but I know that you cannot jog there. That's a privilege that I have. And then the core temperature. This is exactly how we warm up before a race, before a marathon, before we start doing something physical activity. The only warm up that we do before we sit in front of the computer is cracking all the knuckles, and then a lot of job gets done. But running a marathon is very different here. So now, what is movement? Let's start with the dictionary definition. It's the simplest of all, an act of moving. It's actually not that simple. When somebody says, all of you know that if you don't move, what happens? What happens when you don't move? You don't reach places. If you want to go to places, you have to move. Very simple. The act of movement is the dictionary definition, but what comes in your mind when you say movement? Can somebody tell me something? What comes in your mind when you say movement? What movement means to you personally? Strength, energy, all right? Movement. Walking, physical movement. Fitness, moving limbs. What else? Being active. Okay. Being at ease. Okay. Even while moving, you can be at ease. Okay. Fabulous. All right. So let's see what movement. It's very complicated, right? So there's so many words comes into my mind, and then also from the people who I actually work with. It's exploration, freedom, birthright. Somebody say movement is birthright. Okay. Freedom, exercise, well-being. There's so many words that can connect to the world of movement, right? So now, when we talk about movement, do you remember when was the first time you moved? Of course, we all moved when we came out of our mother's womb, right? So, starting from that time, okay, as a baby, we started moving all our limbs, to crawling, to standing, to walking, to running. These are some of the achievements that all of us have done in the first 2 years of our life. Okay? What is the most recent achievement? Okay, fine, you have mastered the art of movement, and then what happened after that? Okay? So the struggle started. Now let's look at a typical life journey. I've been coaching a lot of middle-aged people. I call them as SESRAs, serious or extremely serious recreational runners. Okay? If you really look at their typical life, the childhood time, very fun time. You remember all the great things that have happened. Stealing mangoes, or even going to neighbor's house and then doing monkey business. We all done monkey business. We talk about Vanarasena. We've done. Nobody would make any judgment. Free play in sports. Of course, between 12, 13, of course, the kids of these days are right at the birth. They're given coaching, right, for IAS, IPS, and JEE kind of coaching. Education is given importance between these ages, and of course, career. Career takes care of our life for a long period of time. Relationship, children, caregiving. Caregiving starts because parents to take care. India is so good with supporting our family members. Caregiving becomes very really important. And then, of course, if you really look at this period, good health generally, okay fitness if you are not into exercise, but at the same time your growth, physical growth stops at the age of 20, okay, 18, 19, 20. Now the next phase is declining fitness. If you are not active in sports, if you are not active in exercise, there is a decline in fitness and also increasing stress, mostly acute. It comes and goes. Acute stress is something, it comes and goes, right? And then the third phase is may further decline, right? So your issues start here at this age of, let's say, 36 and 40, may further decline. Women go through this menopause. It's a complex hormonal issue, and also immune system is compromised, age-related decline, a lot of complications that are starting here. This is nature. Technology can grow, advance, but our human body remains the same. The way we behaved 100 years back, 200 years back, the same way we behaved. Only thing is we are able to prolong the life now. The life expectancy has gone bigger, but that's the only change. Otherwise, our human body behaves in a particular fashion. So now, if you really see people who have not continued with their active lifestyle, I call them as missing chapters. In Tamil, we call it as Nadulan Nariyave Pakatha Kano. A lot of pages missing in life, because whenever I talk to people, At the age of 40, 45, oh, I used to be a cricket player. I used to be a sports person. I used to do this, I used to do that, but now I lost all those things because in between, I didn't have time because I was busy with other aspects of my life. And then, of course, self-realization starts. That's where coaches like us, me, can help. That's where you come to me and say that, Coach K, I just went and did the blood report. My LDL cholesterol was very high. I've got some hormonal issues. The doctor says walk. Okay, doctor says not to run because running might hurt your knees. So these are all myths, okay? Now people come to you with the self-realization. They also see that, hey, there is a neighbor, there's a friend who's gone out for a run and it looks like he came back with a nice medal. He also talked about the post-run meal, which was a masala dosa. It looks like an exciting meal, let me start running. Self-realization happens. Because we all start focusing on ourselves at the age where most of the damage is done. So now comes, what are the possibilities? If we talk about possibilities, movement. Movement is the only way you can achieve what I call as a negative split in your life. The negative split is a word that I love from the world of marathons. What is a negative split? Negative split is, so we'll talk about an even split. You want to run a marathon, marathon is 42 kilometers. I'll also talk about ultra marathons which are beyond 42 kilometers, which is 50 kilometers and above. So even split is the first half of the race, second half of the race, you're basically completing same distances. If it's a 42K run, 21K in the first half, you're running 5 hours, 2.5 hours for 21K, 2.5 hours for the remaining 21K. A positive split is where the first half is very fast. You probably finish in 2 hours and 20 minutes, and the second half you take 2 hours and 40 minutes because you used up all your energy. So that becomes my positive split. A negative split is where I am going to run slower first half, 2 hours and let's say 31, 32 minutes, and then a faster second half. Now, all of us sitting here, we have an opportunity to achieve a negative split in our life. So you can control what you're going to do. You cannot always travel back in time because a lot of chapters are missing. Can you control what happened in the past? No. But you can now control what you can do between now for the rest of your life. So that is something movement can provide you. So what is a pain path? Let's say if somebody doesn't want to use the privilege to move. What is a pain path? Of course, knee pain. You cannot climb, you cannot sit, you cannot walk, you cannot sit in the floor, you cannot run. So we always like to drive in the car. Oh, we don't drive, we don't go anywhere. You know, if it's a Hebal flyover, you just sit there. And then, of course, health-related issues, health-related complication, because we're not moving. We're not moving. We think that we can eat the same kind of food that we were eating 10 years back. Our moms have to be blamed for that. The family members, the elders in the family, they always say that you used to eat 8 idlis. Why are you not eating? Look at your body, you're becoming thin. They don't have the perspective of health. They continue to feed. I met somebody recently, I said that my mom is the reason why I'm obese. Great excuse to have. Okay, who's going to fix your problem? Mom is not going to fix the problem. All right? And then we have pain. Pain is a common problem, neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain. Okay, that's a reward, the return of investment from working in, sitting jobs. And then, of course, the last thing that you want to see is frequent visits to hospitals and taking a luxury room in the hospital because your company pays for the insurance. But that's not a privilege. That is abusing your body and then thinking that your rest of the days can be managed by the insurance that you have. That's very painful. I've been a caregiver in my family. I've seen 2 cancers in my family. It's extremely painful. To be a caregiver, forget about the person who suffers. But then can it be resolved? Can it be stopped? Of course, possible. The moment I do is the goal is to move freely, not just move freely and easily, pain-free? Can you move pain-free from one place to another place? Can you achieve things? In organizations, we always talk about obstacles. And how do you cross the obstacles? So let's have a strategic meeting. Have you ever conducted a single strategic meeting in your family to talk about how the entire family can move better? Please start investing in that kind of meetings. The next thing is, if you cannot move well, of course, it's going to lead to limited wellness, progress, frustration, and potential setback. Move well, you can progress well, and then when you can move, but when you're not moving, then it's time to take action. So now, what is the happy path? Oh, a lot of things, right? You can actually go to Milkote project, and then, of course, you can go trekking, you can go walking, you can go to the gym, lift weight, run, meditate, prayer. So many options available. And then as a family, travel to places in India, many places. So whenever I used to travel to a foreign country to run a marathon, I always think that why can't we do this in India? Okay, Dushyant beautifully said that we are not really good at marketing. So I want to break that chain. So that's the reason I created ultra marathon races. They said, I want to create an Indian class experience which everybody talks about. Let's not talk about world class. I want people to talk about, hey, there is a race that's happening in India. Look at the standard. Okay, so that's a possibility. I love to see when family members travel to my races because they are giving importance to this path, which is the happy path. Okay, now let's do some squats and lunges. These are all part of the movement, right? A squatting, hinging movement at the hip level. You can do a back squat or you can do a front squat. Beautiful. This is movement. Okay? Why movement is important? Let's talk about quickly research focus. What research is? Of course, we all believe when somebody says that, hey, it is done in Harvard, it is done elsewhere. Sports scientists elsewhere are doing research and feeding us with information. Coffee is good for health. Who said coffee is good for? Then again, another research comes that coffee is bad for health. So what is appropriate for us, we have to take from the research. But if you really look at all the research that points to movement is a longer life. Okay, there are many studies, and these are some of the longitudinal studies which are done for multiple years. Act of simple jogging, I'm talking about this is jogging, not like running at a breakneck speed. Just simple jogging can increase your life expectancy. So that means you can move more, you can explore more. But please, that life expectancy cannot be, that 5 to 6 years cannot be spent in the hospital. This is exploring the world. Okay? And then another research, Baltimore longitudinal study. If you really see one of the longest studies, this is still continuously happening now, 1958. If you really look at this, cardiovascular exercise can reduce chronic disease. Why do you need to marry a disease that it can be controlled? How many of you have screen guard on your cell phone? Everyone, why? Your health insurance is not your screen guard. Your movement is your screen guard. Okay? And then of course the study, this is again if you see longevity in men, Harvard alumni, this is one of the studies done by Harvard on Harvard students. Everybody is talking about moderate to vigorous physical activity reduce all-cause mortality. This is on Harvard graduates, only on Harvard graduates. So why not, if research says move, if everybody else says, who are moving and have benefiting, why not move, right? So that's why movement becomes, and then of course the bone mineral density, this is a very common problem in menopausal age women. If you really see, as children, when we fall, we are so flexible, we can get up and run and walk and do things as if nothing has happened. A 45-year-old man falls, 80-year-old woman falls. What happens? Hip fracture, shoulder fracture, neck fracture, replacement surgeries. All these things will have to be done because our body is not the same what it was during our childhood. So how can you protect your bone structure? Plyometrics. Plyometrics is jumping. Running is actually plyometrics. can strengthen. The shock is what is going to make your muscle strong, bone stronger. Why? So there was a beautiful study done to understand the cross section, the bone cross section of karate players, the martial artists. The saw that they were using to cut were breaking because the bones are so stronger. Bones are so dense because their activity of constantly punching. So the muscle, the mind brain sends signal that, okay, I need to deposit more minerals there so that it can take that impact. But then if you don't walk, if you don't use those muscles, the brain knows how to survive. I don't need to waste my energy on mineral building. Let me flush them out. That's how bone mineral density reduces, especially in women with hormonal issues. Okay, it's more a problem for women than men. Okay, now, reduced inflammation, this is another study, right? So now, what movement gave me personally? It gave me a lot more confidence to do things that I've never done in my life. At the age of 42, which is a very significant number for marathon runners, 42 kilometers, one marathon, I decided to quit my corporate job, high paying job, very respectable job. I was with Siemens Industries Software, 10 years I worked there. I was about to get some promotions, and I said, okay, I'm going to stop working. I'm going to do things that I really enjoy doing, coaching. Apart from that, I started running. You can see that I did my first ultra marathon in the year 2013, and then another Chennai Trails, I did a 50K. You can see me smiling somewhere in the middle of the forest in Javadu Hills. This is a 75 kilometer ultra marathon. So I did a stadium run. Only stupids and idiots do this. Running in a 400 meter circle again and again. I did that twice, 2 times. 2 times running some 85, 86 kilometers. But then also you can see that that same moment gave me certain privilege to talk about very important cause, that's road safety. I'll talk about that in a little while. And then of course this is such, look at this beautiful place. If you can move, we must all go and explore these places. There's somebody has a beautiful photo of me running there. Okay, this is in Vagamon, God's own country, right? So I was running an ultra marathon, 80 kilometer. And then of course this is Malnad Ultra, is one of the most thrilling, exciting experiences that I've had in my life. 110 kilometers, running the entire day and night. I finished this race in about 19 hours. And then, you know, just imagine that Bhadra sanctuary, forest, leeches biting you, okay, boredom, you're alone. I was some 16th finisher out of some 100 runners. I was all alone most of the section. Fear, anxiety, at the same time excitement. There's excitement, there is some thrill there. When you do something in a completely dark, when I'm running the headlights, all the insects will come and hit the headlight. I feel like, you know, after some time I feel like zoning out because the insects are flying in my eyes. They're coming to attracted to the light. How do you experience that? And then somebody said that, the race director said that, hey, if the fence is on the right side, you are not inside the forest. But every time I'm checking where the fence is, because the other side there are tigers. It gives a thrilling experience when you actually go and experience moments. So now, of course, this is my Comrades Marathon. I did a 90 kilometer ultra, up and down. This is the border. This is the longest I've done, a 100-mile race. Running all the way from Jaisalmer to Longewala, Pakistan border. So it's a beautiful experience. And then in 2016, I took up a course, talk about first aid and road safety. How do I communicate? The movement gave me the privilege to communicate to people, tell them that, hey, you're not wearing a helmet, you're going to die. If you just go and stand in the road and tell people that you're going to die, they're going to, they're going to scold you. But at the same time, with the Indian flag, with the placard, people paying attention to me. So I was able to run 42 kilometers for 42 consecutive weeks in 42 different places just to talk about road safety. 13,000 people I met. How did I remember? Because I'd made pledge cards. So I was able to distribute 13,000 cards over a period of 10 months time period. Now this is the last day of my campaign, which ended at my apartment with all my children. You know, that's my daughter, she's here. My son is here. And then of course my wife is always there to support me. Now the same moment also gave me the opportunity to create this beautiful, okay, all race directors think their races are beautiful. But I have a lot of endorsements. It's almost 2018. We still have Ooty Ultra is one of the most toughest and challenging ultra races with these kind of distances. Bison Ultra is 7th edition inside a coffee plantation, and I put together this Madurai Ultra, which is the latest addition to my calendar. At the same moment, also gave me an opportunity to do an uncomfortable thing. And I'm a mechanical engineer. I ended up doing a master's degree in sports performance coaching. The last year, I was able to do that because I decided to fix my, thank you. I decided to fix my foundation before going and talking to others about fixing the foundation, because it's science. I love science because science has answered for every single problem. I want to be the coach who can connect, who can bring the good perspective in the life of people by bringing the angle of science into coaching. Then you can actually see that, hey, oh, okay, I want to do one more movement. It's a beautiful inchworm. Of course, you can go back and then transform into a plank, and then you can actually come back. It's beautiful. Other moments. Privilege. I have the privilege. Are there any side effects of movement? Are there any side effects of movement? Good side effects? Okay, let's see that. Dangers. The dangerous side effect of movement. Okay, these are some of the dangerous side effects, guys. You decide whether you want to move or not. And some more. And some more. Seriously contagious. Seriously contagious. And then some more. You may fall in love all over again with your spouse. Okay? So now, small consistent actions can lead to big gains. Of course, these are the things, these are the possibilities. Run, hike, I don't know, meditate, prayer, do some strength training. That's going to help you achieve your goals. And park your car and walk. Okay, in Bangalore, you can never do that. You can actually park the car and walk to your workplace. You can still reach the places, right? So now, what about mountain climbers? Of course, you lie down like this, and then you're going to climb mountains. Okay. You don't need to go and hike these mountains, but you can still climb mountains at home. Imagine that you're climbing mountains, okay, at home. So now, what others are doing, if you really see, I'm very selfish. When I go to my races, I have an opportunity to witness human performance from all walks of life. Look at some of these pictures. These are happy people, 64 years old, 73 years old, 75-year-old. Look at this couple, 60 plus. And this man always comes to my race with a loud bhajan, and then he sings and he walks in the forest. Happy man. And then there are also, it's not comfortable. Some people he missed the cutoff by around 20 seconds to miss the 90-kilometer medal, okay, in Ooty Ultra. And then, of course, that lady missed a 60K cutoff. Now, there's a lot of emotion flowing. You'll start accepting losses. It doesn't matter what your career is all about. When you come to a race like that, you'll start accepting wider aspect of life. All right, I'm going to skip this. Let's quickly go there. Now, the most important thing is to put the house in order. Most important thing, okay? Where you start supporting the women. I have a humble request to all the men here. Please support your women. Please support the ladies who are basically building you, okay? If you're not considerate about their health, please start paying attention to that, because they struggle a lot. They struggle a lot. They need the privilege to take care of themselves first. And then they are always caregiving to others. They never complain. Please pay attention to them. And then, of course, look at this. When they are supported, she's the only woman runner who has completed Ooty Ultra, which is one of the toughest races. 90 kilometers must be done in 12 hours. Only 3 runners finished in the first edition, and she's the second winner. And then, Vaijayanti, look at their ages. They're 54. Amazing. They are able to move. And look at the family responsibilities, right? So you need to prioritize family responsibilities. And then look at these are the things that needs to be done. Family time, you need declutter, you need to have a specific zone for exercise. And then also you need to choose healthy meals. These are some possibilities. As a family, you need to sit together. When you go back today, if there is no plan, there's no strategic meeting, it has to happen today. Look at the happy families. When they come to races, they travel together. they enjoy, they travel. Okay, now